Welcome everyone to the 2021 State of the Industry. Before we get started, if everybody would mute your audio so that whoever's speaking can get their points across and what they want to speak about. The point of this was the Board of Directors for Elevated U were talking that it's been a while since really a lot of these faces here I haven't seen since I've been at an in-person conference, and it's good to see everybody. And we just thought it'd be a good idea to get our industry associations together just for a quick blurb, just to say what you're experiencing and seeing in your regions and your professions, and what's going on, since we all have kind of different angles in the elevator industry. So what we done was we invited the executive directors and such who would speak from the different associations. So today we have Rene Kozar with NAEC, and we have Sheila Sweat, and also John Koshak, who will be talking from IAEC. We have Catherine Bockwell with CECA. We have Sean Cowden with EESF, and who am I missing here? I had to make me some cheat sheet notes. I got Amy Blakendorf from NEII, and Jim Borwe from NAESA. I think that covers all of them. So anyway, what we're planning to do is, we think it's going to take about 30 to 40 minutes. Each association speaker will talk for about 5 minutes on what they're seeing, what they're experiencing, things going on in their industry and how they see things. And make sure I'm not missing nothing here that I wanted to talk about in the beginning. And basically just how COVID, the reason we're here pretty much is because of COVID. It's been a little over a year, and that's what's been stopping most of us from seeing each other in person. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with what's going on with Elevated U, what we're experiencing, and when I finish, I'll just call on, in no particular order, the speakers for each association and let you speak your part. And after that, we will have some time for question and answers. We're hoping to get everybody out of here within an hour is what we're thinking. Just depends on, I guess, how many questions and stuff. So I appreciate everybody being on here. And with that, I'll start with me. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Eddie Morris. I am the president of Elevated U. And so from our perspective, what we're seeing, we're made up of a lot of universities and colleges. We also have consultants and such, some K through 12. It seems from what we're experiencing that a lot of the colleges are in the same boat. They have budget issues. For instance, at University of Virginia here, our students can only be in person, no more than 6 in a group, of course, socially distanced, masked on. If they're outside, our policy is now 25 can be together in a group, but still social distance and mask. Our students are back in full, for the most part, in person. And we're certainly hoping our budget is looking better than what we thought it was going to be. Our fiscal year runs from June or July 1st to June 31st of each year. And I think pretty much most of the colleges and universities do that. And in our case, we have had some good news of late. We've been able to fill 3 positions in our department. So in other departments as well, whether it be plumbing, mechanical, whatever. So the purse strings are loosening a little bit. And I heard that we're in better shape than what we thought we were going to be coming out of this. And Elevated U has not had a conference. This year will be the second second year because our conferences were usually in June. And when COVID hit in March, that nixed that one right off the jump. But we're really hopeful for a conference in 2022. We're hoping that other universities, much like my own, will have a better outlook, and the budgets will be there for us to have that in-person conference, because I know we all want to get back to that. Brad Haldeman, I see you on here. Could you just give us a little bit of insight from Penn State, what you're seeing?
Yeah, we're pretty much set up, like the University of Virginia, and we have in-house classes for full student body. We have social distancing. We're setting up a lot of the testing sites across campus, and that was part of the emphasis over the past 6 months or so, is setting up multiple testing sites. We don't have any vaccine sites on campus, but we have a nearby hospital that has a vaccine site. But just for campus, we're trying to set up the mass testing sites. For the student calendar for this semester, we had the students start the semester about a week and a half late. And then we also canceled spring break so that the kids couldn't couldn't go and bring back any additional viruses to the campus. But other than that, we're just following the national trends and everything, and hoping that this the numbers will drop off as soon as possible.
Right. Yeah. Everyone we've talked to, other universities, it sounds like we're all kind of in that same boat. One thing I didn't mention is one of the things we're working on at Elevated U is we are trying to get some elevator design guidelines, some generalized elevator design guidelines posted on our site for our members. And we are in the short rows on that. We're near the end. And so for our membership, we're hoping to have those available. Hopefully in the next couple months, we'll be able to have it posted, and it will be something general. You can take what you want, leave the rest, but it will give our members a way to assist themselves when they're trying to spec equipment for their campus and what works for them and best practices and things like that. With that being said, I am going to move along to the first one on the list, which I happen to have Rene, Kozar, Executive Director with NAEC. If you could give us the spiel of what's going on.
Hey, Eddie, I think that Daniel with IAEC asked to go because they had their own job site. Could they go first?
Sheila? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll back up. You're right. Thank you. Sheila Sweat, Executive Director with NAEC, and John Kosak, I think is President. They will stay.
Hi guys, this is Sheila. I'm gonna pull this up a little. Now I have a pointy head. I'm on the streets of Dallas. Was going to tell you a couple of things about our annual forum. We originally had it scheduled for New York City. However, New York City did not open up, and we were able to do a quick pivot to Orlando, Florida. And we will be having our forum this year, June 29th through July 2nd, at the Wyndham Grand Orlando Bonnet Creek Hotel. Now, we are committed to keeping the forum attendees safe during the coronavirus pandemic and adhering to CDC guidelines. We have enough space that we can all be 6 foot apart anytime we want to. We also hope, of course, that the vaccinations have increased and a lot of us feel more comfortable that way. But we should be live this weekend we will have 10 hours of QEI, except they're not called hours, but in the first 2 days of the forum, so that anybody that needs them for the first half of this year, NEISA does half year, would be able to get them if they needed them. They NAESA is actually giving the first 8, and we're going to find a way to get the last 2 certified. With that said, we did a survey, and John Koshak, I'm going to hand it off to you to see what that survey revealed.
Thanks, Sheila. We sent out a survey monkey to the membership and just asked the general question based on the topic of this meeting. And the question was, in your opinion, does the industry as a whole look brighter today than it did a year ago? And we got only 13 respondents. We have over 100 members, so I think short notice was partly the reason for that. But we did get, of those responses, 85% of the members responding said that it does look brighter. So in numbers, 11 said yes, 2 said no. Speaking from my own experience, I'm back to 100%, probably 120% of pre-COVID. The percentage of work that I have as a result of, the phone calls and customer. And to me, I think it's a bright, I think we're past the COVID decline and are heading in the right direction. So that's all I had to report. Daniel, if you have anything to add to that. If not, thank you very much for the opportunity, Eddie.
I've got nothing to add.
Great. Well, thank you, Sheila, for participating with us. I know everybody's busy, so thank you. And Rene, I will start with you, and I apologize because we had found out right before this that Sheila had to get through and move on. So anyway, I apologize for that. So now, Rene Kozar.
Yeah, sure. It's just hazing of the new girl. I know. Well, I'm Rene Kozar. I'm the new executive director here at NAEC. And I'm going to use Don Gelastino's quote, don't let any crisis go to waste. So there's been no grass growing over here. There's been a lot going on. I started in November, and of course, our new board was seated in September. And since I've been here, we've filled 4 staff positions. We filled our vacancies, and really excited to announce 2 brand new staff positions that we're bringing on board. A new National Development Officer, Shannon Bates, who will be starting next week. And then we're bringing on a Global Education and Safety Officer, David Smart, whom I know many of you know and respect in the industry. So we have rolled out our new strategic plan in January. And as many of you also know, we decided to pull the trigger on our spring conference, which is happening April 17th in Tucson. We're very excited about it. Our numbers are actually larger than we anticipated. We did not assume that we would have a full docket, and we are ending up, our numbers are growing larger than anticipated, luckily. What we did is we hired a third-party meeting events company that specializes in COVID safety and distancing to make sure that our attendees, our members, our speakers were all kept safe throughout the event. So we're really excited about that. As I mentioned, this has been a time of huge growth for NAEC. I'm so excited to be leading with Amanda Smith, who many of you know and respect in the industry, as our deputy director. And we've really got 4 focus areas that we're really working on for our members, and that is to enhance and stabilize our internal structure, which we're doing through these new staff positions, really expanding our education and certification offerings. Again, thus this new position that will allow us to have a broader and deeper reach within the industry, grow and retain our membership by offering lots of new member services, and also increasing our overall innovation and relevance in the industry through events and training. So that's really what we've been up to over here. And the feedback we're getting from our partners is they're ready to get back to it. Many of them have seen they've seen growth come back in the last, especially in the last 3 months, and seem to be busier than ever. So we're getting good feedback from our membership, and again, their response to attending the conference and the speakers that are participating has given us the indication that folks are really ready to get back to it. So thank you so much for the opportunity to meet you guys. I love seeing the faces of several of you who I've spoken with before. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Renee. The next person up is Jim Borwick with Executive Director of NEISA.
All right, I had to take a second here to get myself unmuted. And I'd like to take an opportunity, just like Renee said, I'd like to say good morning to everybody. But I also want to thank Elevator U for inviting NEISA to join us in the state of the elevator industry. My name is Jim Borway. I'm the Executive Director of NEISA International. And I started this position in January of this year. Most of you know that I'm a longtime board member, and I was chairman of NEISA Central Region for many, many years. And joining me today is our Assistant Executive Director, Emerald Coons. Right now, NEISA is currently presenting all of our training through WebEx, and we started that in January. And at that time, most of the country had restrictions on in-person gatherings, and we're starting to see some locations that are easing up on these restrictions to allow for more in-person meetings. And Rene just touched on that with the event that they have in Tucson. One of the things that we did during the pandemic is NEISA and the staff did a remarkable job in starting to offer all of the training through WebEx. And we're continuing to update our training offerings so that we have some on-demand, and increasing the number of classes that, code update seminars that we offer throughout the year. And of course, those are all on WebEx. And you can certainly go to our website to see any of the listings that we have. And you can go to www.naesai.org, and you will find our calendar, which has listings of any of the offerings that we have. This is probably a good time to remind any QEI certified inspectors or anyone that wants to participate in our classes that, but especially those that are seeking recertification, that period, of course, is in June of this year. And you're going to want to beat the last minute rush so that you don't miss out on a class. People like, they tend to procrastinate. We're all busy, but they will procrastinate and wait till the last minute in order to sign up for the class. And they're filling up very fast. So I just wanted to mention that to everybody. We've already started taking our scholarship applications for children and grandchildren of our members. Each year, NEISA provides $3,000 scholarships to children and grandchildren of our members. The NEISA Canadian region also has 3 scholarships of their own, and they will be taking applications for those. You can go onto our website and click on the scholarship opportunities, and that's under the member benefits tab. Next month, our executive committee will be holding a meeting, and we will be discussing the status of in-person meetings. One of those for the second half of the year is our Wisconsin Symposium, which is a huge event that will be held, it takes place in mid-September. And the preliminary indications that we're getting from Wisconsin is they're starting to, the venue is hosting more and more events at that location at the Grand Geneva Resort. But of course, we will also be closely watching and planning for any local and state guidelines for health benefits. So again, I want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to take a look at our website and look at our educational opportunities. And thanks again for letting me participate in this venue today. And as Rene said, it's kind of nice to see everybody's faces. It's been a while since we've done that. So thank you for allowing me to participate, and I'll wait for questions and answers and join back in at that time. Thank you again. Well, let me segue to Emerald and see if she has a few words, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
No, I really don't have anything to say. I just know if we do go ahead with Wisconsin, we will be offering the golf outing. So that'll be fun. Everybody will be able to enjoy each other and hang out. But other than that, I don't have anything.
Great. Well, thank you, Jim and Emerald. I appreciate y'all's input. And we'll move on to Catherine Bockwell, Executive Director of CECA. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, thank you very much for inviting me to this. It's nice to see everybody. I'm Catherine. I'm the Executive Director of the Canadian Elevator Contractors Association. I am having a little unstable internet, so if I can cut out, I apologize ahead of time. So while CECA has been doing their best to navigate through this pandemic and into the state of new normal, at the outset, we set up a sharing site where our members could share resources and try to get through the COVID together. We came together with our United partners for the virtual conference last year and all had to figure out how to do virtual meetings. And we were lucky that we were able to fit in a golf tournament last September before the numbers exploded again. And it was nice to see everyone. But since then, all our meetings have been virtual. But who says you can't have fun virtually? And we did have a very fun wine tasting party with some of our members, and they partied late into the night with their wine. So that was fun. We're fortunate that most of our members made it through 2020 and their continued support through for CECA through their memberships and our dues we froze for the 5th year in a row in recognition of the difficult year and in gratitude for our members. So we're lucky we retained most of our members. Some of the projects that we've continued to work on include updating our CECA MCP to the 2016 and the 2019 codes, as some of our provinces are moving to those. We're plugging away at the MCP library, although it is taking some time. We are continuing lobbying efforts in Ontario to ensure this bill that was introduced a few years ago called the Reliable Elevator Act is not enforced, and to push back against some new contractor fees and proposed penalties brought by the AHJ there. We also are lobbying in Quebec to ensure that cooperation between the AHJ there and the industry. We're working with the AHJ to assist with transitioning to the MCP in British Columbia. We've been very busy. We're also working with our members to deliver an EDMB training for our construction hoist industry mechanics, as the program has not been delivered for a long time. And most of the current EDMBs are past retirement age. And in the same boat, their code is also very old, and they're working on the 1987 code, and we're looking at updating that for the construction hoist industry as well. We are working together with NAEC and to Canadianize the certified accessibility and private residence lift technician CAT program and bring it to Canada. And we've launched a private resident and homeowners training session. We've started to get work on that with the municipalities now. So can you, okay. And we also have 4 scholarships we're offering again, and that's opened up, 2 for the elevator industry and 2 in general for our members and their children, grandchildren, etc. We also have 2 colleges in Ontario that now offer a 2-year diploma program for the elevating devices in addition to the apprenticeship program, and a 3rd college in Nova Scotia is looking at delivering the program as well. Now onto COVID, it's brought many restrictions to Canada, even within Canada itself. Our US-Canadian land border has been closed for over a year and will remain closed until at least April 21st. Basically, this means Canadians cannot travel to the US by land, but we can still fly to the US. Americans cannot travel to Canada by land or air unless they are essential workers. Essentially, everyone entering Canada must quarantine for a minimum of 14 days and longer if you have symptoms. It doesn't matter if you've been vaccinated or tested negative or recovered from COVID. At this point, those are the regulations. There's strict rules on how to quarantine, and if you're flying, it's mandatory to have a 3-night prepaid booking at a government authorized hotel. All travelers are required to take a COVID test on arrival and another 10 days into quarantine, and you have to check in with the government regularly. Penalties not followed include fines up to $1 million and or 3 years in jail. So there are also some provincial regulations within Canada that provinces that have the same, and if you're traveling from outside that province, you also have to self-isolate and to quarantine for 2 weeks. Many of our regions are in state of lockdown, and we are heading into our third wave of the viruses, expecting more lockdowns. We're slowly getting vaccinated and are now targeting our over 70 population and frontline workers. Some of our essential workers are also now getting the vaccine, which includes some elevator mechanics. The government has mandated that the first and second dose be spread out over a 4-month period in effort to get the first dose into more of a population. So a lot of our American friends are getting it in 3 weeks. The first and second, we have to wait 4 months. We made the tough decision to postpone our 2021 convention in Halifax and postponed it to June 14th to the 16th of 2023. That was in part with all the provincial regulations in the Maritime and the lack of flights going into Halifax and just the safety of our little Canadians in general. Instead, if the regulations are allowed, we're looking at a more drivable 2021 fall golf tournament and mini conference north of Toronto, where we can utilize the great Canadian outdoors to our advantage in the wide open space up at Deerhurst and Muskokas, for those that you know it. We're looking at September, I think the 13th to the 15th for that. We're also looking at some small regional golf tournaments to allow for some fun networking. We have finalized, with our fingers crossed, our 50th birthday party for CECA, which was developed in 1972 in Montreal. And that will be May 31st to June 2nd. And we hope everyone can make it. And that's really the most of the updates from Canada here. Well, for the Elevator U part of it, all of our universities are virtual right now as well. So we have no in-person, but we are hoping that our students can go back in the fall. Our high school and our elementary school students are still there, but we'll see if they get back after Easter. We're not sure. So that's it. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that, Catherine. It sounds like Canada's more strict than US.
Yeah.
Lucky you. So our next speaker will be Amy Blankendorf. She's the Executive Director of NEII.
Hi, everyone. Many of you are new faces. I'm going to kind of jump on the same theme that we've heard a little bit, in that I'm new to this position as well. So I think this is a trend here in the industry right now. But I replaced Karen Penafiel, that many of you may have met. Karen left NEII in October. I stepped into this position, and similar to what Rene said and others is, I really needed to strap down and look at our internal structure, our staffing, what NEII was doing, and our organization. We've undergone a reorganization that we're about in phase 2 of 3 phases to do that. We are shifting some things around to really have a specific focus on code development, and then a separate specific focus on safety, and a separate specific focus on code adoption. We were trying to mash all of those functions together, and it really was not working well anymore for the industry. And so we are looking to separate those. We've added a new position with NEII in order to help spread out those tasks among more folks and be able to apply more attention to those very important functions. We have also really been looking at what are the member services that we're providing, and are we meeting the needs of the industry? I think NEII has an opportunity with the resources available to our full members to develop best practices, to provide compliance assistance tools. These are areas that NEII has not really delved into in the past. And I would definitely welcome any feedback that the Elevator U or even the other organizations on the phone are interested in compliance assistance tools or best practices, or even interested in participating. We're putting together an associate member council that we've never had before to allow our smaller members in order to participate in our policy development area and other functions that NEII is doing. These are the proposals. I just want to be clear, the board of directors is meeting next week. So I will have the official announcement come out at our annual meeting, but you're getting the behind the curtains look at things before they're actually official with our new council, for example, that hasn't been officially approved by the board of directors. I did add 2 new staff people. I brought in a person, Phil Groney, to replace my position as Vice President of Government Affairs when I moved into the Executive Director chair. We've also added another Government Affairs person, as I mentioned before. The other thing for us is that we too right now are completely virtual. I had the pleasure of talking to Rene last month and learning about NAEC being on the ground with their in-person conference in September. So NEII is hoping to be able to attend that function and bring our board of directors meetings on site as we have done in the past. So we're hoping to get back out in the field, as we say. The other interesting part, and I don't know how much this is impacting the Elevator U community, but remote inspections has been a hot topic for us across the United States, and even exploring it a little bit in Canada. It has not been as well received, the remote inspections concept with the jurisdictions in Canada, but I didn't know if that was something that was occurring within your group and you'd seen it in your facilities. But it is something that several states have been looking at. I do know, I believe one jurisdiction has been looking at that as well, specifically New York City is the jurisdiction that I'm talking about, which we all know it's not a typical local. And so from our perspective, in the areas where this has been working really well, we're exploring the idea of whether or not this would be a function to continue past the pandemic recovery, that as we work into the new normal, what are those undertakings that were embraced during the pandemic that might be brought forward into what I consider to be the new normal. So this is something we're looking at and we're trying to get our arms around, and any feedback your members have would be greatly appreciated if it's something that you're experiencing. The other, I think, main focus that would be valuable to bring to the attention of Elevator U is the idea that NEII has really looked at the building transportation function. And I don't want to say in isolation, because that's probably an unfair characterization, but fairly distinctly. And NEII, and my view is that we need to be looking at the entire building environment, and we need to expand this into working with the other associations for various building environment issues, whether it be the HVAC, plumbing, and electrical side, or whether it be the BOMAs and the other type of organizations that represent our customers. But without looking at that in a complete perspective, we're really missing some opportunities to increase efficiencies, to make sure we're consistent between industries and how they're regulated. And so we're really evaluating this and seeing where it makes sense and where it doesn't. I don't think it's a one size fits all. Obviously, we are definitely new in this view, and it's a new undertaking. So we just need to tread carefully and make sure that we're thinking through it at each step, and whether it continues to make sense to look at it from that perspective, mainly from that regulatory side of the house. Other than that, we don't really have any, sort of main breakthroughs other than the last thing I wanted to mention was Code Finder. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with Code Finder. It is a program that NEII does offer. We, excuse me, we go in and edit A17-1 based on the addition that's been adopted in the jurisdiction. And we note every single change that is adopted by that jurisdiction in a searchable program. The platform that CodeFinder has been on for many, many years is really outdated. Any of you who have any computer background, it's on Cold Fusion. That's a platform that's not even available anymore. So we have a really hard time updating it, keeping it current, making it user-friendly. So we have undertaken a capital investment, and we'll be unveiling the new CodeFinder this summer. I'm targeting our July general membership meeting to be able to unveil the new CodeFinder. It should be a lot more, like I said, user-friendly. It should be easier to navigate. It should be searchable under a broader band of search tools. And we're very excited about it because I think one of the negatives of this and prevents more use of CodeFinder has been how difficult it is to navigate the program. And so making it more user-friendly, I think, will be a resource that more folks may want to look into. So for any of those systems that you're interested in knowing not only what's going on in your jurisdiction, but others, this program is available. And we're hoping to be able to provide a non-member access to CodeFinder in July as well, to have an a la carte option for that. So we're looking at various options and seeing what makes sense for the membership and as well as the industry on whole. So those are my big announcements, and I look forward to working with you. I have not worked with Elevator U in the past, so I'm definitely hoping for NEII to be a more constructive and participatory member of your group. And I really appreciate the invitation to be here today to be able to introduce myself and what we're undertaking at this point. So thank you very much. And I'm around. I do have another meeting that I'm going to have to scoot to pretty soon, but I'm going to stay on as long as I can.
Thank you, Amy. So we have one more person, one more speaker, and that's going to be Sean Cowden with, he's the Executive Director of EESF.
Hey everyone, great seeing all your faces. I'm Sean Cowden. I'm the Executive Director for the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation. Just wanted to give a quick update of where we stand, give a recap of the 2020 year for us. So in 2020, as we're all aware, the special events were unable to happen. However, it was a plus for us in that we were really able to focus on our big initiatives of expanding our online presence and social media. We revamped the Safety Ambassador program, and while we were not able to get back into schools, by putting that program online and promoting it through Facebook and Instagram, coupled with our YouTube ad for the Safety Rider program itself, we received more views and impressions in 2020 on just that ad alone than we did for the previous 3 years combined for the Safety Rider program. We saw an overall increase of about 60% to our website. We're really excited about the amount of participation and downloads we've gotten from the new Safety Ambassador program. The follow-ups to the reviving our other educational programs, the Ride Up Safe Rider and the A Safe Ride. We are in the process now coming out of our 2021 AGM that was in March of this year, back in March 25th, building some committees to help us revamp those programs and look into those. So we are asking for everyone to, if you would like to volunteer with us, know that you're going to be getting some emails from me asking to participate. The next couple of big things that we are working on for 2021 will be to continue to build on the Safety Rider program. It's going to be a very large undertaking potentially, but we would like to fully digitize that program by developing an app so that we can get that into the schools. We know that most schools have tablets for the kids now. So instead of us sending out those actual packets anymore, we want to be able to send a download option so that they can put those directly on the machines there in the school. And the goal right now is to still be at the NAEC in September. We are very thankful for that. And we are, again, asking for the volunteer participation, and we will, as part of that, be also rolling out a new workplace campaign that we will, it's an option for it's a payroll deduction program, and you put that in place within your company. It gives a reporting of what the foundation is doing, what their money is going towards, and just an overall boost in the transparency and understanding of what it is that EESF does for the industry and for the general writing public. I look forward to speaking with all of you soon on a one-on-one. I know the number of you have gotten some emails from me so far. So we look forward to continuing working with you, and we thank you all for your support of the foundation.
Thank you, Sean. And so that was 6 associations. And of course, we have Jim, Amy, and Rene, all new. We're happy to have you on board. And, you know, we're all here to support each other in the industry. We all have a piece of the puzzle that we're part of. And so I appreciate everybody willing to plug in and come in today. I wanted to introduce Dave Sweet. He is our vice president of Elevator U, and he came on board probably right in the pandemic. So it's been kind of quiet. So I would like him to just say a few words, and he is with York University in Canada, and he can say a little bit about what's going on in his neck of the woods up there. You there, Dave?
Can everybody hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Perfect. Good morning, everyone. So my name is Dave Sweet. I first got involved in Elevator U back in 2018. I believe it was in Alabama. What a good time. I miss coming down to those southern states. So my role here at York University is I oversee trades, elevators, and generators. And I've found with Elevator U, it's very resourceful on the elevator side of things. Each state, from what I gather in the United States, has different codes and compliances. And at Elevator U, everyone seems to try to help each other out. Where in Ontario and Canada, we have to follow TSSA guidelines. Here at the university, I deal with TSSA directly. We have to do all our submissions. At the Kiel campus, where my office is, we have 141 elevators at 6 escalators. I have 3 contracted full-time mechanics on staff at all times, just for basic PMs. And I use my vendor of record right now would be Otis, but we do lots of renovation modernizations. And it goes out to tender to the public. I'm heavily involved in that right now. We're building a Markham campus, and everything is kind of crazy. With COVID, we still all worked. We worked right through COVID, all trades. The university itself, there's very few students, but we're building buildings, we're building residents. We're booming in the maintenance side of things. Overall, the university, though, classes are all online. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm relatively new to Elevator U as well. So I only started as a vice president, would have been last, I'm going to say April. It hasn't been very busy from my side of it, and I'm still learning. But my phone is always on, my contacts on our website. If anybody has any questions or concerns, I'm more than willing to speak and help out wherever I can. That's about all I have.
Great. Well, thank you, Dave. And so just this meeting was a little bigger than what we would typically have with Elevating Youth for just our members. But if anybody's interested in being on our newsletter, which will go out to anyone to their email for future meetings like this or other type of meetings, you're welcome to go to elevatingyou.org and sign up for that newsletter. At this time, do we have any questions that anyone has for any of our speakers that we had today? I'm thinking that's maybe no. Again, we appreciate everybody coming today. Brad, did you have anything to add? Or Glenn, did you have anything to add?
No, I don't. But if anybody on the call wants to talk and update what's going on in your area, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our great Elevator U meeting. It was amazing to see everybody. Awesome. I've gotten 2 shots, so I'm done with this COVID thing, all right? And they were a piece of cake. I got leftovers at a convention center. So get out there and get your shots. Let's get the world going again, all right? Thank you all for coming.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. It was great to see everyone. I can't wait to get back to in person where we can actually be together, hang out, and look at products and talk elevators. So thank you all again for coming, and look forward to seeing you the next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you.
Thanks, Eddie.
You're welcome.
Thanks again.
You're welcome.
Thank you. See you sometime.
Thanks, everybody.
See you, Catherine.
Thanks for having us.
Good seeing everybody.